In the afternoon, many of the protesters congregated at Columbus Circle outside of Union Station to join in the Festival of Resistance permitted march, while others broke off to enjoy musical performances, attend teach-ins, speeches, or meetings at various points across the city. But what you probably heard most about were the black bloc tactics that left windows smashed, a limo, some trash cans, and some news kiosks on fire. Again, our analytical conversation about these tactics will come in just another few minutes, but for right now, let's just pause for a second and ask, why the fuck do I need to pause? Why does this tactic require an explanation, whereas a blockade does not? Is it because that you feel breaking shit is wrong? Why? Is it because you equate the destruction of property with violence? If so, what's homelessness? What's poverty in the richest country in the world? We walk by that shit day after day and never ask for an explanation, but a Bank of America gets busted up and all of a sudden, everyone feels violated. Now, as you shall see in a minute, I'm not saying that I completely agree with all of the tactics that were used on Friday. Indeed, I feel splintered about some of what I saw, but it is important to understand the difference between shitting on a tactic and analyzing it. Our job as activists is to analyze tactics and strategy, to always question our methods so that they may get better and more efficient. Our job is also to support those who use tactics that we don't. Indeed, part of picking your battles is exchanging infighting for constructive conversation. Solidarity does not mean and should not mean that we all agree on everything. If the left ever wants even a semblance of unity, we have to accept that people disagree on shit, and that we will, and in fact need, to approach this with a diversity of tactics. Embrace it. Respect that. And again, ask yourself why you, if you do, feel more uncomfortable about a smashed Bank of America window than you do about a boarded up window in a foreclosed home, courtesy of Bank of America. Why does a trash can on fire make you feel more uncomfortable than seeing a homeless person freezing? Take a look at this following video and try applying a lens of capitalist reality to it. These protesters we in the streets are the children of an empire drenched in the blood of its own people and the blood of innocents across the globe. We protesters have, and many still do, march in permitted marches, write petitions, and call our representatives. But along with that, we support, either through participation or active solidarity, the right and the need to escalate against a state that calls for a peaceful transition to neofascism in the midst of the most broad assault on people and planet that the world has ever seen. I mean, for fuck's sake. There's nothing peaceful about a transition of power when that power has its military stationed in 70% of the world's countries, including here at home.
Stay here, I'll do it.
Yeah, that's the military parading down the streets of D.C. The idea of keeping the peace on our streets is a fallacy. From rampant police brutality, the militarization of the police, the enslavement of prisoners, and the overarching and continued oppression of our own people and their ability to survive makes the idea of a peaceful transition a sick, twisted joke. Therefore, we protesters believe in a broad spectrum of tactics, applied purposefully and conscientiously, because we recognize that the state will apply violence without care or consideration, and they will apply it likewise in a variety of ways. Whether you agree with the application of these black bloc tactics or not, condemning them altogether not only betrays a place of privilege in feeling that you are immune to the violence of the state, thereby immune to the necessity of fighting back, but it also divides an already splintered left, promoting the establishment ideology that protest can only be confined to permitted kinds, thereby stripping it of any real protest value. So maybe this doesn't make sense for you right now. Maybe it won't for quite some time. But watch this video and ask yourself what it would take for you to riot. What violence would need to be done to you before you fight back? And then ask if anyone in this country lives with that. if your solidarity with them might matter. Again, try to shift your paradigm to see this through the eyes of the oppressed, the eyes of the capitalist U's, the corporately abused, the children of a bloodstained empire. Because believe it or not, you are somewhere on that spectrum.
Back up! Oh, fuck, I need some water. Please! Back up! They're spraying! They're spraying!
Police deployed tear gas, pepper spray, and stun grenades. Black Bloc used bricks and stones from the street and again set fire to a limo, some trash cans, and some news kiosks. They also smashed windows, including those of a Starbucks and a Bank of America. They also punched a fascist. And let me just say, it's okay for that to feel good. So, we'll get into a more in-depth analysis and discussion in a minute, but first, here are some images from the J20 events in DC to encourage a little inspiration and indeed rumination. Take a look.
We're all sick, tired, and wasted. We're all sick, tired, and wasted. You're not the only one. Low wage, debt's cage. Freedom comes in change. We're all sick, tired, and wasted. We're all sick, tired, and wasted. You're not the only one. Schools become a shooting range. Sex sells, war pays, we can't abstain. Take these pills to calm the ills. Low life, high price, diet brought to you by fat cats with 9 lives and just one.